Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is PID? Well, if you go by one popular definition, it's pelvic inflammatory disease. I have a feeling that probably wasn't what they were going for with this title. This is a platformer, yes, another indie platformer from a company called Might and Delight, and this one is coming out on October 31st. So I have a preview build of it, and I'm checking it out. So, with most of these games, I do like to skip at least the first 10 minutes until I actually find the main mechanic, and I have discovered it, indeed. It is actually this. So, you are able to toss these gems around the place, and they create these kind of hover beams, which allow you to bypass various obstacles. Since this game is insta-death upon hitting pretty much any enemy or hazard, it is generally a good idea to use this. Now, when the game opened, it was quite interesting because they had this kind of hand-drawn scene whereby a schoolboy fell asleep on an intergalactic school bus and ended up on a mysterious planet. And the first thing that you find there are these two giant robotic old men, I assume, that say, hey, you can wait here for the bus. And then there's this kid that says, no, it's a lie. You'll be waiting there forever, so you better just go and try and find your way to the... God damn it. I saw that coming a mile away. I was just hoping that I'd gotten it right. Apparently not. Let's try that one again. There we go. Much, much better. Oh, come on! I was on the beam. Really? That's how it's gonna be? Okay. So one has to be somewhat careful. There we go. Alright. I could probably just actually jump over that. Or I could do that. That should work as well. There we go. Now... one of those robotic old men looked kind of like that, although he was wearing a bowler hat. There are some very curious, extremely curious creatures in this universe. Apparently not. You can talk to most of them, and they've got a really nice design going on in this game when it comes to its aesthetics. It is charming in many ways. It's got really nice music, it's chilled out, it's like, ooh, yeah, some smooth lounge jazz going on right here. Nice. That's what we want. It's by a group called, I believe, the Retro Musicians, or the Retro Musician Group. Yeah, I'm pretty much sure that's what it was. And they have put together a rather interesting soundtrack, to say the least. It's relaxed. It's making me feel chill, even though my usual reaction to indie puzzle platformers is to want to rip off my own face. So there's a ringing endorsement for the guys over at Might and Delight. Doesn't make me want to rip off my own face. 10 out of 10. There you go. This also has co-op support, by the way, so if you wish to solve puzzles with a friend, then that seems to be the way to do things. You know, I think I would prefer if almost all of these games had some kind of co-op mode, because I dislike them inherently because I'm so bad at them that I just don't have any interest whatsoever in playing single player. Plus, I often miss the most obvious solutions to everything, so yeah, it's mostly because I'm an idiot. I'm bad at these games, so I want help. There we go. The system takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you realize that you can just toss stuff in... Oh, this is actually gonna... You can toss stuff in such a way that it's right next to your target, so it's easy enough to find what you're looking for. But I can see myself finding some very, very frustrating elements to this game. Thankfully, I haven't found too many of them just yet. How far with that can I get? You're also going to get stuck in the beam, which can get irritating, especially when you have two beams that are very close to each other. You end up floating around like an imbecile. It makes me feel stupid, and I don't like it when games make me feel stupid. It's mostly just an ego thing. I should probably toss one down there first. Oh! Come on, this is simple stuff. It's like, I see what I have to do, I'm just utterly incapable of doing it properly. There we go. You see, that wasn't so hard now, was it? Now, I'm trying to collect all of these stars. I'm not really sure why. I assume they have a use somewhere in the game, but I'll be damned if I can find it. Oh, you can also cancel your beams. That's good, because it looks like I'm most likely going to need that functionality fairly soon. Come on. No. There we go. That did the trick. These light blocks can be busted with your beams as well, and sometimes they have stars inside, so it's often good to break them. As you can see now, I wish it was less frustrating to actually get out of the bloody beam, but then again, it just pointed out that I can cancel it by pressing C, so, you know, I should probably pay more attention. And thus far, it doesn't really offer a lot that other indie puzzle platformers don't. And I think the real problem we're currently having with this genre is it's massively oversaturated, hugely oversaturated. And I actually asked a number of people, including the developers of Closure, why a puzzle platformer? And they all answered the same thing. It's because of Braid. Braid is the reason why so many of these games are coming out, because Braid was so ridiculously successful that now everyone wants to make the next Braid. So, you know, it does make sense. Oh, come on, really? It does make sense, I guess. And as a result, we're getting tons of these. You know, it's a great time to be a platformer fan, I'll tell you that for a fact. Oh my god, you have never had it better. But for me, who has never really been a platformer fan, you know, the only platformer I've really ever appreciated is Sonic. And yeah, this is not Sonic. Not by any stretch of the imagination. To be fair, it's better than most recent Sonic games, not that that would really take much. Oh, come on. Come on. There you go. I wanted that star, but you know what? I don't care. I'll just try and get as far through the game as possible. Yeah, these kind of... Oh, don't put me down the bottom. Oh, God. These kind of puzzle platformers just aren't appealing to me. It's a genre that I really have a very hard time appreciating. And maybe it's just because I'm bad at them, but, you know, I'm bad at a lot of different genres of games. I don't hate them quite as much as I do puzzle platformers. And it's unfortunate because with WTF Is, I like to focus on indie games. And you know what a lot of indie games happen to be lately? Yeah, puzzle bloody platformers. So... And I always feel really bad criticizing them because these games often have a ton of work put into them. The aesthetic of this game is gorgeous. It looks good. It's got this nice pastel shading going on to it. It's got a very unique look to it. They haven't gone with the whole retro pixel style things. No, they've gone with an interesting modern approach, and I like that. I like it a great deal. The little... Why? I could have just jumped that. It's like, oh, I'm trying to be too clever again. There we go. Let's have that, thank you very much. The mechanic of being able to toss down a gem to create a beam it's not particularly original. I've seen similar concepts in previous games, but it seems to work fairly well, and it's not astonishingly frustrating, although it does seem to have problems every now and again. Alright, now I guess that I can spend this money to do something. I love these little characters. They look great, and there is quite a bit of dialogue in this game as well, so I'm interested to see what's going on with the story. And initially the story is quite simple, but I have a feeling that there's going to be quite a lot of lore. Alright, I'm going to grab an item out of there, that would be good. Okay, thank you very much. Alright, let us grab whatever this is. I'm paying stars for something I don't even know what... That's really silly. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna get this. Like, yes, but I don't know what it is or why I'm supposed to have it. Please do tell me what the item is prior to actually making me spend money on it. That's... because otherwise, it's just silly. I hate it when games do that. They just expect you to buy something like, maybe I didn't want to get that. Obviously, in this case, I did, but still. Alright, so there are... what looks to be an interesting variety of enemies around here. You can't fight them, at least at this stage, at all, so it's mostly a case of avoiding them, so it's even arguably a little bit of a stealth game. Although it's more... I'm gonna fall off the edge of this, aren't I? Oh! There we go. I don't even know what's going on with this guy. That guy has a missile launcher, which seems to me that it's probably not the best idea to go anywhere bloody near him. But, yeah, the game's getting a little bit more interesting in this regard. I always prefer to deal with enemies in puzzle platformers rather than having to deal with the environment, and once again I think it's just because the environment makes me feel stupid. Did that just... oh, bollocks, that works on them too? Alright, well that leaves a couple of curious possibilities. Oh, I could also crawl under there. I like the fact that there seems to be multiple ways around certain problems. Like, that's something it did mention in the little blurbs. Like, hey, there's multiple ways to solve problems, and usually I read that and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But in this case, actually, yeah, there are. They've designed it in such a way that you can do a number of interesting things. Oh, good! There we go. Toss it up there nice and quickly, and then just head up before he, too, gets stuck in the beam, and then just cancel the beam. Alright, okay, I'm getting the vibe. Understand what this game is trying to do. You know, funnily enough, those look very much like battle droids from Star Wars Episode 1. I guess that they had to find a new line of work after they lost the Clone Wars. But Watchmen to try and stop this tiny little lost kid, and shooting missiles at lost children is just... it's just evil! Why would you do that? I guess when you're a battle droid, you're not really particularly great when it comes to the ethical side of... No! Just... No! Oh, why did I not cancel that? Why are you such an idiot, TotalBiscuit? A question that is frequently asked and very rarely ever answered. Oh, my. Alright, well, this is kind of neat. This is getting significantly better. I like the fact that I can use this against my enemies as well. Always like that, especially when I can come up with some creative solutions to eliminate them. Definitely something that a lot of puzzle platformers lack, because it's mostly player versus environment, not player versus monsters and stuff like that. Yeah, put enemies in your game, and then instantly your platformer becomes more interesting. It's funny how that works. I'm still very impressed by the graphical style, because this is not something I see a lot of. I see, lately, there seems to be two ways to do your platformer. Either you do it with a very high detail, very color 2.5D background style, or you go for the retro style. Now, this game's gone for neither, and it's gone for this interesting pastel look to it. Oh, it reminds me of... what the heck's the name? It reminds me of Journey. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. I thought it reminded me of something. It's just the pastel shading and the way that the backgrounds are presented in this rather abstract fashion definitely reminds me of Journey. And that is a good comparison, because Journey is one of my favorite games this year. That was a wonderful experience. That was like the best 90 minutes of gaming I've had in a very long time, so good comparison to have. Yeah, this game is setting itself apart quite nicely, even though it is part of a massively overly saturated genre. I'm also intrigued by the world. Why is the world this way? Who are these people? And thankfully, there is dialogue to actually allow me to learn about the world. Oh god, it's freaking Satan's Roomba. Let's dodge that, shall we? I guess that might stop him from coming anywhere near. No, he doesn't care. So why are you scrubbing the floors? Are they enslaved by Satan's Roomba? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Interesting, yes. It's fine. Okay. So he's washed the floor too much, ergo it doesn't work. I guess that makes sense. So, basic platforming it is then. You know, I like it when they say, it's like, oh, it's not going to work here. It's like, that's great, that means there's less stuff I need to think about. It means I can bypass it with basic platforming skills, of which I do have in a very small amount, so that'll work for me. Yeah, this is getting more and more interesting. It's a game that's coming out on 360 as well as PC at the end of the month, that being October 31st. And it very well might be worthy of your attention, which is not something I necessarily say when I look at puzzle platformers. I think you've got a very specific demographic of people that seem to enjoy them. A lot of the younger audience don't seem to like them at all. I think this kind of appeals to older gamers to some degree. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all, actually. I'm trying to figure out how to get this. I was thinking maybe I could lift that guy up, possibly. That's kind of neat. You see that? I can attach it to a moving object. That's particularly awesome. Now I just don't want to be on it anymore. No, because the guy at the... Oh! He will murder me. There we go. And now I'm completely stuck. It's like, oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I assume it's got something to do with that guy at the bottom. Oh, balls. Come on. I was thinking, you know, maybe I could just lift him up there and get him to break it. Seems like the way to do it, but that involves accurately tossing this beam in the right direction, which is not something I'm particularly good at yet. I almost want to... Oh, Christ. I almost... God, I'm such an idiot. I almost want to say that there needs to be an indicator somewhere on the screen as to where the thing will actually land, but then I think a bunch of purists are going to yell at me for saying that's dumbing the game down. But more often than not, it's like, I don't know how far it's going to toss it in that direction. Maybe they just want me to learn. Like, with enough practice, I will inherently know where it's going to land. But it tosses with an arc, it never tosses in a straight line, so... It's, you know, it's difficult to learn. It's something that you definitely need to consider when doing anything in this game, and I have a feeling it's only going to get more complicated from here on in. I wonder if there's a way to just... Oh, can I just bypass that entirely? Oh, alright. They weren't kidding when they said multiple solutions. Sweet. Oh, this might actually even be a secret area. If I can get up there. Yeah, there we go. What on earth I can't trust this guy at all. This is basically Carrot Top with an arsenal. Absolutely not. Okay, what are you gonna say? Oh, naturally. Yes. Ooh. Ah, so that's how you get through. Alright. Fair enough then. So once again, I think I was overthinking the problem. Alright, I have a bomb. But I don't know how to work it. How on earth do you use them? I guess you probably select them in the inventory. There is actually an inventory screen, as you can see, so there you go. There's a lot of items available in this. So you've got 2 inventory slots there. Ooh, let's not do that. See to get through there, and I guess I just toss it in that general direction using the D button. Yes, yes, I understand. Thank you, internal monologue. Let's... There we go. Nice and easy. Once again, overthinking. It's like, oh, maybe if I can teleport them up. No, you just get bombs. Always the way. Always the bloody way with games like this. But I'm having fun, which is not something I usually say with games like this, honestly. Because I think they've done enough early on in the game to keep me interested, and they don't rely on a single gimmick at all. That's actually, yeah, that's it. That's what it is. I've now finally identified why I like some puzzle platforms and not others. Because there are some puzzle platforms that are based entirely on a single gimmick mechanic. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I find myself very easily bored by that. And especially if I don't like the mechanic that it's based on in the first place, then, you're gonna have a bad time if you present me with a game like that. But in this case, because it's just more of a traditional platformer where there's items, there's an inventory system, you've got to use certain items at certain times, there are various different ways of dispatching your enemies, there are various different ways of bypassing problems and things like that. Combined with the rather awesome lounge jazz chill music in the background and some rather interesting graphical choices, I think that this is a game that might very well be worth your time. Yes, might even be worth mine, which is unusual when it comes to these kind of games. I barely ever play them, but I'm intrigued by the world. I'm intrigued by the universe. They've created something very different here. And that is not something I could say for most of these kind of games. So, this could very well be worth your time. It's worth checking out, folks. If you want to check out the website, it is in the description below this video. You can find out some more information about it. And as I said before, this game is scheduled to come out on the 31st of October, so the end of the month. Please do remember that. I'll try and give you a reminder on Twitter if I actually can. Assuming I can even remember it myself. Oh, I think I see how this goes. Yeah. I see how it goes, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to wrap this video up right now. PID, ladies and gentlemen, probably something that they need to reconsider the name of. My name has been TotalBiscuit, and I shall see you next time.